Hi everyone and welcome back to Sprinkle with Paper. Today I'm going to be sharing how I made this cute glow-in-the-dark candy bucket using the contour tool over in Cricut Design Space. Let's go on ahead and jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a new project page in Cricut Design Space. For today's project, I'm going to keep it super simple and I'm just going to use one of the designs that can be found under Images. The phrase I'll be searching for today is, "Which better have my candy?" I thought that this would be a funny saying to put on a candy bucket for Halloween. If you're a Cricut Design Space member, this file is included in your subscription, and if you're not a member, I believe that it's only $1.99 to purchase it. So my plan for this design is to have "Which better have my" in black iron-on, and then I'm going to use my glow-in-the-dark orange iron-on for the word candy. But as you can see here, this is not a layered design, so I'm unable to ungroup it, and I can only change the color as a whole. So to get around this, I'm going to use the contour tool. And basically, the contour tool allows you to hide a portion of the image by removing any unwanted cut lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this design, and then I'm going to use the contour tool in the first design that I have here, and I'm going to hide the word candy. So now I'm going to click on contour, and then you'll see on the right hand side here, you're going to have all of the cut lines for this whole design. So I'm just going to go through this list, and I'm going to hide all of the cut lines in candy. So we need to make sure that we're not only getting C-A-N-D-Y, but we're also getting those middle parts of the A and the D. Once we've clicked on all the parts of candy, then we can go ahead and exit out of this screen. And now you'll see that the word candy has been removed from this design. Now I'm going to move on over to the other design, but this time I'm going to delete everything except candy. So when we click on the contour tool this time, I'm going to click on this button down in the bottom right hand corner that says Hide All Contour. So the reason I'm doing this is because there's so many different cut lines in Which Better Have My. So it'll just be much easier to bring back all of the candy cut lines instead of trying to delete all of the other ones. And once I'm done bringing back all of the cut lines for candy, I'm just going to exit out of this screen. And now you'll see that Which Better Have My has been removed from the design. And so now if you look over on the right hand side, you'll see that now we have two different cut files. We have Which Better Have My as one cut file, and we have candy as the other. So now we can change the color of each of these independently. So I'm going to keep the Which Better Have My as black, and I'm going to change candy to orange. Now the last thing I need to do before cutting is I need to change the size of this design as a whole. So to do this, all we're going to do is we're going to highlight each of these cut files, the Which Better Have My and the candy, and then we can change the size. And since both are highlighted, it will change the size of the design as a whole. And now that our design is complete, we're just going to click on Make It. And then from here, we're going to select our cutting material. So for today's project, I'm going to be using iron-on. So I'm just going to search for Everyday Iron-On. And since we're using an iron-on, the very last thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we mirror our images. And since now we have two cutting mats, we need to make sure that we're mirroring the black mat and we're also mirroring the orange mat. The supplies I'll be using today to complete this project are the glow-in-the-dark orange heat transfer vinyl and then also a black heat transfer vinyl. And then I found this bucket at Michael's. It was in the spring collection, so it was 70% off, so I got it for an amazing deal. The other tools I'll be using are my Cricut Easy Press Mini, and then I'm going to need a weeding tool, a scraper, measuring tape, and a pair of scissors. I'm just going to measure the surface of my bucket, and I've actually already done this when I created the design, but I'm just going to double check before cutting just to make sure I didn't make any mistakes so I don't waste any material. The first color I'm going to be cutting is going to be the black, and since this is an iron-on, we need to make sure that we're putting it shiny side down. So the shiny side is actually the plastic protective sheet that we'll be ironing on, and we want to make sure that we're cutting on the actual vinyl. So that's why we always put it shiny side down. Once the black's done cutting, we're going to move on to the orange. And since this is a glow-in-the-dark iron-on, the back side is actually white. So for this one, we're going to be putting the color face down, and then we're going to have the white that's facing up. While the orange is cutting, I'm going to start weeding out the black design. And then once the orange is done cutting, I will weed that out as well. Now I'm just going to center the black design onto the bucket, leaving room for the word candy. And then I'm going to use my little mini press to iron it on. I used to use a sticker vinyl when I was working with metal or tin, but I then realized that iron-on actually works so much better. Not only is it so much easier to work with, but it's actually a lot more durable as well. The only thing is that the metal gets a little hot, so you just need to be extra careful. Now I'll attach the glow-in-the-dark iron-on, and with this one, the packaging says that the protective sheet needs to be pulled off when it has already cooled. Typically, when I'm working with a project where it needs to cool before I could take off the protective sheet, I'll normally just pop things in my freezer for a couple minutes because I'm really impatient. But since this is kind of big, I don't really have space in my freezer, so I'm just going to give it a good 10 minutes before peeling off this protective sheet. I'm so pleased with how this project turned out. The quality of the iron-on is great. I love the saying, it's super funny, and it's a nice big bucket, so it's going to hold a ton of candy. We get so many trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood, so we're definitely going to have to stop snacking on this so we have some left. And my absolute favorite feature about this bucket is that it also glows in the dark. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about contouring, please leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.